Hello, and welcome to the third of 6 guided meditations, helping you to get going and stable in your insight meditation practice. Inside the great mystery that is, we never really own anything. So what is this strange competition we feel then before we go one at a time through the same gate? Again, Rumi, 12th century. Inside the great mystery that is, we never really own anything. So what is this strange competition we feel then before we go one at a time through the same gate? So please, my friend, take your seat. Find your comfortable upright posture. Notice that you're alive. We take it so for granted. Your body is, right now, life. It might be having quite a lot of pleasure or some pain or a lot of pain. Bodies are astoundingly sensitive. We spend a lot of our time trying to find more pleasure and escape from pain. In fact, this is the root of all addiction. In this instance, please take your comfortable upright posture. Maybe take 1 or 2 deep stretching breaths. Stretch your lungs out, stretch your back out. Maybe let your arms rise up and stretch a bit. Notice that you're breathing. You actually are. What you've taken for granted for all these years, you can actually appreciate and be very present in. Notice the quality of your mind. Is there peace and ease right now, or is there some significant anxiety? If there is anxiety, can you accept it? You certainly are in the right place. This practice is specifically designed for working with difficult physical and emotional states. So as we've done before, please bring awareness with great gentleness and delicacy. Bring your awareness into the breath. Every single breath is an invitation to be alive right here and now. You can let your eyes be open or gently closed. If you find yourself getting sleepy, it's quite helpful sometimes to open your eyes and maybe even turn on a bright light. But we begin and continue to ground ourselves in the present moment. In the actual sensations, not a fantasy, not an idea, not an image. In the actual sensations of the expanding and contracting of the chest and abdomen, or perhaps the sensations of the air as it comes and goes across the membranes of the nose. You probably notice already that your mind has wandered. And I hope that by now in this series of guided meditations, you're becoming more comfortable with the fact and familiar with the truth that our purpose is not to stop the mind from wandering. Our purpose is to be awake to and profoundly, utterly accepting of what's happening. As a foretaste of what can come, you may notice that whenever you're suffering, there's a part of you that wants something to be different. Is not accepting what's happening in the present moment. Please notice if you're experiencing anxiety. Anxiety pulls us into the future. What about this? What might happen? What could go wrong? Of course, some of this has been very helpful to us over all of the developmental millennia, because it was good to be a little anxious about, are we going to have enough food? Can we keep the children warm, etc.? But this practice offers us a different possibility than being unconsciously lost in anxiety and worry. Instead, it invites us to be aware of the phenomenon of worry, the fear of loss, and then, once aware of that, simply relinquish it. Don't turn it into more body tension. Don't turn it into more fantasies of a bad future. Instead, see it as it is, which is thinking. Thinking, and during that moment of thinking, notice, wandering. Come home to this moment. Sometimes a wandering mind will last half a second. Other times you may be gone for minutes. That's fine. It doesn't matter, because every time awareness awakens in the midst of a wandering mind, you're present. You're strengthening the capacity to be here now. Rather than resisting anxiety or pushing it away, we're doing something really quite different. We're meeting it with curiosity. What's going on? How do thoughts contribute to tension? How does the tension in the body contribute to thoughts? Where is the tightness? Is it in the chest, in the abdomen, in the eyes, in the hands? Is there some tendency to biting? Anxiety. Anxiety is, as well, is not particularly personal. Everyone has some anxiety. The more danger, the more real threat there is, the more anxiety is appropriate. So notice where the tension is in your shoulders right now, or in your back, or wherever it is, and just see if you can let it go. As you come back again and again, into the ease and simplicity. Coming home to the actual, tangible sensations of in-breathing and out-breathing. Right here now. Breathing in, breathing out. And I'm going to introduce you to a different kind of practice now. It's very simple, very powerful, sometimes quite difficult for people. But give it a try. It involves using a sacred mantra, a sacred saying. In this case, it's very simple. It says, I love you. And it has your name on the end. And so with great delicacy and gentleness, maybe on the out-breath, just see what it's like to say, I love you with your name on it. If it's very difficult to do this, that's very important information, isn't it? I love you. And you could imagine yourself at different ages, maybe actually the moment of your birth. One practice is to imagine that you're there at the moment of your birth, and your hands are the first hands to hold this beautiful baby. What does that baby want to hear? I love you, with your name at the end. And you can imagine yourself as a toddler, as a teenager, at any time in your life when difficult things have happened. You can practice in a certain way being there. I love you, with your name at the end. And so let us come back to breathing in and breathing out. And the breathing becomes more and more familiar and more home base. It becomes more and more attractive to spend 10 or 15 minutes a day in meditation. Please now notice the contact of your body with the chair. Notice the life, the richness of life in your hands and fingers. Notice the life in what you think of as your face. Notice the life in your scalp, in your ears, and in your eyes. And let your eyes move around a little bit, left and right and up and down, and maybe circles inside their perfectly lubricated little hideouts. And as we've done before, when the gong rings, let this be the signal to allow the eyes to open. As the gong goes, let your eyes open. Be aware of seeing. Let's not take seeing so for granted anymore. Seeing. And you can let your eyes rove around wherever you are and notice the objects, the colors, the shapes. And seeing is something that you can become aware of experiencing countless times a day, just as being aware of breathing is. Hearing. Notice when your mind wanders, come back to hearing. Please have a wonderful, mindful day.